Hi, I'm Grant. Welcome to Grant's Art Course Reviews. Udemy is one of my favorite online platforms to learn art. In this video, I'll share you some of my tricks and tips on how I use Udemy. I hope you find them useful. Hi there. This is Udemy's web browser version. There is an app version that I use sometimes on my Android, but there is an iOS version. I like the web version better. There's some features that the mobile version doesn't have. So I like this version, the browser version. So you can see from my list of courses that I paid for, I kind of went on a buying spree. But the very first course I took with Udemy, I'm a beginner at art. So my art journey started about 4 years ago. So I saw an ad on Facebook and I clicked on it and I did a figure drawing class that was way above my level. So that was the first mistake. So inside each of these courses, it tells you what level it's supposed to be. So let's go in this one. This is one of my favorite courses. That's from my learning. So I'll just give you a short overview of what the panes are. This is the title. This is the progress bar. Now this is kind of neat. This is the video pane. You can see that when I bring my mouse over it, you can see little images. This is called video scrubbing. Okay. There's a speed, playback rate, which I use sometimes. Sometimes I speed it up. I will go through how I use this, but I like to go through a certain passes, and depends what pass I change the speed. And these are the standard controls. Go back, go forward. This one is really cool because you look at the content screen over there on pane, it changes into the transcript, which I love using. This is really good. And you actually, when I play it, it actually follows along. Okay? So I really like that. I always like to put the closed captioning on, but I find that sometimes in a video, it gets in the way of the art, so I have to turn that off. Okay. So, and down here is the content page. I call it sort of information. It has the course content, it has the overview. This is where my beginner level is. I took this class about 2 years ago and I loved it. Anyway, so I recommend you go down to the bottom and you'll see that the instructors will have a link to their social media and a little bit about themselves, which I find really useful. And inside here also, you'll see that what the course needs. What do you need? Like what kind of pencils you need, or if it's an online app or so. So I'm just going to put it back onto the content. So this is a toggle. See how it toggles back and forth? This is the captions. This is the settings. This is okay, full screen, which I like doing full screen with captions on. Okay. So I've done a dozen or so Udemy's courses. I always say Udemy, but it's Udemy. And I'll show you some of the tricks and tips that I do for each of my courses I've been taking. Hopefully that you'll find something that's useful in here, and it can help your journey. So let's say I just bought this course. Okay, so what I do is I want to find out about the instructor, make sure that the skill level is my level. I made that mistake once. And if you go down to the very bottom, you can see their Facebook links and their social media links and their YouTube channels. But also what happens inside this class, for instance, there is a Facebook group that you can join, which I highly recommend. It's a private Facebook group that you can post your images or your art, your photos of your art, and you get some feedback. Also, you can post questions. So I recommend that. So this is the beginning of the class. So I always go out at the end, the very first section here, and I'll find out whether or not I'm missing some of the resources I need, or some of the, like I need some pencils and stuff. So I make sure that I have the requirements, the paper, pencil, eraser, ruler, exactly for this class here. Okay. So before I take any lessons, I open all these up to get an idea of what's coming up. And you see in here, for instance, in section 2, there's a resource. That's a resource that you can download. I find that if you download those first, it makes it a lot easier. So what I do is I open these up, I download each one of these. So that has a resource. This one doesn't. That one doesn't. This one does. So I print them out. I save them, and I print them out on half page size. Then I use that for my scrapbook later, which I'll show you. Okay, so this is at the beginning of each course. So I just started a new lesson. This is what I do. So you can see that I just started number 53. And this is at the beginning of the video. What I do is take the video scrubber and I go through, and I just want to see where this person is going with this, just so I can follow along. Okay, so you can jump to that spot. Oh, you're making a face. Okay, so I notice that this doesn't have any resources, so I don't have to find the associate resource. And then I put the transcript on as well, and I can read through it and say, oh, okay. So it just gives me, I just sort of scan it and just say, okay, well, that's good. And I'll go to this point. And so I like to use the video scrubber, and you like to use the transcripts to go ahead. And if it does have any resources, what I do is like to have it printed out first. And then that way I can follow along in my workbook and make the drawing. And if it doesn't have a resource, I could do a video capture of this with Windows. It's probably all copyrighted material, so you can't post those or sell them. But I like to also, if there's not a good resource to this, like I took an anatomy course, a drawing anatomy course, and I found some excellent diagrams on Google that I used as resources. So I can go outside of this lesson and print them out. It's one of the beauties of online learning, that you can put your course on pause, find some more stuff on Google, print it out, follow along. So during a new lesson, I like to take notes and draw along with the instructor. I highly recommend that. So the very first course I took, I kept all my drawings on good paper and my notes separately, and I kept it in the file folder, and it was just impossible to keep together, and I used binders. What I found is I used a sort of a scrapbook method. This is my workbook, and it has all my resources in it. You can see that here there's multiple courses in here. So let's just go to the course we're working on. I have paper clips. You can see that during the lesson, I draw along with the instructor. I take notes. I take ordered notes. Okay. Here's another one. I take an ordered note. So I printed these resources often in the ahead. So, and then I looked at the scrubber, so I know what they're doing. So I put the resource on there, and then I take notes around it. So you can see that this one, I brought in some Google images that I found on Google. Here's some drawings that I draw along with it. You can see that it keeps in a really nice all-together format. Now, I use a 9-inch by 12-inch folder because with the drawings and the printouts, I like to have some space around it. So you can see that this is in my notes. I did an anatomy course. So I really recommend you follow along, and I like this scrapbook method. Also, for instance, I've done dozens of courses. So here's another book, for instance, and here's another book. So I can use these as resources for when I'm actually doing art. I can actually look at it and say, oh, I need something here. So yeah, this course, and then I can look up in the course notes. So everything is together. You can also take notes inside Udemy with their note feature, and that's kind of neat to do. I kind of use it just as a bookmark. And then I can jump to it. I've also replayed videos again. That's the beauty of online stuff. Here's a summary of some of my tips. So at the start of the course, make sure this is right at the right level for you. Download all the resources and print them out. Open up the contents section and see what the course is about. I also find that this is motivation to complete the course. So in the beginning of each lesson, I use the video scrub to see where the course is going. I have the printout ready if there is a resource. I use the speed to do multiple passes through the lesson. Remember, pause and rewind is your friend. Draw along with your instructor and create a course scrapbook with all the information, your notes, the resources, and your drawings all together. I hope you enjoyed this video. I put some notes in the description below. The next video, I'm going to review one of my favorite courses, the Ultimate Drawing Course from Beginner to Advanced on Udemy. Please click the like and subscribe. Good luck and have fun in the process of creating art.